Welcome one and all to the Cinegeeks podcast where movies, TV, and all things geek collide. My name is Roy, still joined by my lovely co-host Angela.
Hi.
Hi. Yes, that's the right level of exhaustion. Hi.
Pwedeng hi, pwedeng
hi. Yes, we made it. All 10 films.
In 5 days.
In 5 days. Just para tayo nag-mini Cannes Film Festival tayo.
Mas matindi yun.
Yun.
How many movies per day?
Siguro mga 4-5. Tapos
10 days.
2 linggo.
Oo. Grabe.
Tapos iba-iba pa yung mga competition nun. But anyway, sorry about that. We just wanted to let you know that we are now on part 5 of 5 of our special series talking about all 10 films in contention for the main feature-length competition, again in the Cinemalaya 2024 Film Festival.
AKA
Cinemalaya XX, AKA
Cinemalaya 2024.
AKA
Cinemalaya Pain Festival.
Yes. Or Cinemalaya 20.
Cinemalaya.
Yes. Alam mo yung parang sabaw na yung utak ko. Sorry.
Tapos durog na rin yung puso ko.
Yun. Kaya nga sinabi mo kanina na parang, we're recording this on the day of August 9.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. But anyway, you said na there was a screening of Gitling nearby this day, August 9th.
Estancia.
Sa Estancia, South Tigas. Kaya naman kung gusto kong panoorin. Sabi ko parang wala na akong lakas manood ng Cinemalaya. Wala na akong luhang iluluha pa.
Wow. Kakanta ka na ba? Parang nasa videoke mode ka na.
So for this episode, the 2 films we'll be talking about are as follows. The first one is The Wedding Dance, written and directed by Julius Lumiked, and Love Child, directed by Jonathan Hurilla, screenplay by Arden Rod Condes and Ariana Martinez with Angel Benjamin. Okay. So, why don't we dive in na agad doon sa unang film na pag-uusapan natin, huwag natin patagalin pa, which is again The Wedding Dance, and we'll be reading, as always, the logline of the film from the Cinemalaya website itself. It is as follows. The love between a Kalinga couple is torn asunder by their patriarchal warrior community whose harsh judgment falls on a woman's infertility. Okay.
Interesting premise.
Yes. Actually, ako personally kasi isa to sa mga, ayoko sabihin parang catnip, okay? We'll try to workshop a lesser term after this. Pero pag nakakita ko ng mga ganitong movies, sobrang understated nung poster, even yung trailer na ilang araw nating pinapanood habang inaantay natin yung scene sa AMMB.
Yung song.
Atong kabunya.
Kabisado mo na.
Nasa na ako dun sa kantang. Pero yung mga ganitong films, yung parang sa akin nakaka-pique ng interest ko eh.
Yes,
diba?
Same here.
Na these are the kinds of films that make you want to dig deeper. Without hyperbole, actually. These are the kinds of films that inspired us to start this podcast. Kasi these are the films na parang ripe for discussion.
And less told.
Yes.
Diba?
Tama. Let's get started. What did you think of The Wedding Dance, Ange?
Coming in, I've always wondered how divorce works in, tribes. So, unlike the other IP or indigenous people film that we saw in this film festival, yung Tumandok. This one is set in the 1940s.
So, immediately after World War II?
No, di ba? Tama ba?
Oh.
Yes. So, ayun. I don't see how that affects the story na kailangan ng backdrop ng war. Kasi there was also a Japanese character introduced in the beginning. Pero parang inconsequential siya actually in the grand scheme of things. So, I wanna focus more on dun sa titular Wedding Dance. Kasi yun talaga yung pinaka-main plot nitong movie. So, it's very nice to learn about the culture of the Kalinga. Iba pala sila dun sa mga inaakala natin ng mga taga-norte ng mga tribo. So, it's very informative din naman in terms of yung pag-introduce nila ng sarili nilang kultura in their own voice, as said by the director.
Ay, yung parang
the gala premiere
gave a short speech before the film started. Yes.
Yes. Na they're always mistaken for other tribes in the north, in the same region.
Mm-hmm.
So, ayan, I appreciated that this came from authentic source. So sila talaga. Hindi siya parang appropriated or merong parang mouthpiece na kinamit na tao na iba yung nag-interpret ng kultura nila. So, kumbaga, this is how they perceive and this is how they want to be perceived by the public. And the wedding dance is, yon, kung ano yung mga rituals when it comes to courtship, yung pag-betrothal ng mga couples in their tribe. So, it's very interesting to actually juxtapose that to, infertility. And yun nga, parang how important is yung siring an heir sa tribo. Kasi syempre, importante yun sa kanila kasi they need their tribe to continue.
Mm-hmm.
So, napakita talaga dito yung importance ng pag-build ng family and how detrimental it is in a marriage na hindi fruitful.
Mm-hmm.
Ang ano ko lang is parang this could have been a very short but sweet tale about the wedding dance and the Kalinga wedding dance.
Uh-huh.
It could have been, straight to the point. Parang hindi ko naintindihan kung bakit kailangan ng timeline jumping. Kasi it was very straightforward.
Yes.
Parang naghanap ng bagong partner yung lalaki kasi hindi nga fruitful yung marriage nila. There was love, pero paano nila ina-navigate yung marriage na hindi fruitful, although they love each other, pero kailangan nilang unahin yung duty nila to the tribe over their emotion, over their personal choice. Maganda pa rin siyang reflection on the humanity of that. Pero sana naging straightforward, yun na lang, dumiretso na tayo sa kwento. Wala nang ibang mga Japanese occupation angle, wala na yung mga sobrang daming flashback. This could have been a very effective short film. Yun lang ang masasabi ko. Kasi, how about you, Roy?
Yes, I totally agree dun sa sinabi mo na it's a better short film kaysa yung sa sobrang niyang haba. Kasi, okay, first off, I would just like to commend the heart of this film. Kasi, na Julius Lumikid wrote and directed this film from a place of love for his culture.
Mm-mm.
Especially given now that there are instances na, like what you said earlier, na may misrepresent sila.
Mm-mm.
Na may mix up yung culture nila with other cultures nung nasa paligid nila.
Mm-mm.
Yung ganon. Ngayon, it's a shame kasi sobrang convoluted nung way for us to get to the dramatic meat of the story. Because this film, again, it tries to employ a lot of, I would say, narrative tricks. Yung mga ganong may flashback, ganong may flash forward, ganon. Actually, sinabi ko sa'yo kanina, anong pinapanood natin yun yesterday na, pala siya, parang challengers. Kasi mayroong 7 years ago, tapos babalik sa harap. Tapos 3 years ago, tapos babalik sa present. Tapos magto 2 years ago. Yung mga ganon.
Tama, oo nga,
diba?
no?
May pagkaganon siya.
Yeah.
And siguro, in another film, that would have been appropriate. Pero, for this kind of story, sana dire-diretso yung pagkakakwento niya. And ang daming scenes na parang were so extended. I'll just use that term. Sige.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that was on my mind while watching this was there is a lack of parang desire to quote-unquote kill its darlings dito sa scene na to. I mean, I would understand as a creative na parang every piece of footage that they get is sobrang special and they would want to include that doon sa final product ng sine. Pero kasi there comes a point when you have to sacrifice some of the things na you shot or you wrote na you thought would work when you were conceptualizing the thing as compared dun sa dapat lalabas siya na final product.
Yes, I agree. Especially if the pacing would suffer.
Exactly. Yun. Maliban lang dun sa yung pacing niya nagsuffer kasi sobrang extended ng mga ibang sequences. And I'm just gonna be talking about this. We're just gonna be talking about this purely as a film. Okay?
I would love to, parang I want to pay due respect dun sa tribe nila.
Oo.
And dun sa story nila and their culture that they showcased in this movie. Sige, please go ahead.
Merong part dito, natouch-upan mo na siya kanina, yung tungkol dun sa Japanese na soldier. This happens in a flashback. It could have been a montage. Especially given kung saan pupunta pala yung parang pagiging consequential ng event na yon, narratively speaking. It could have been something na parang short 1-2 minute scene na parang sinasabi to introduce this other character, yung guy, and why siya dapat yung parang quote-unquote pakasalan nung leading lady natin. Hindi na dapat nagkaroon na parang, part siya ng tribe. Parang may ganito, tapos may betrayal. Ang yun na nga the pacing suffers from scenes na hindi na trimmed down for clarity.
And for brevity.
Brevity, yun din pa. Another is, technically speaking, yung ADR and the sound mixing was all over the place.
It's very imbalanced, yes.
Oo. May mga scenes na, especially given two people talking in the same scene, one character would have crystal clear audio sa boses niya. And then the person they're in front of talking to has sobrang muffled, sobrang baba ng volume.
Tapos yung iba pa parang in the same scene, yung ADR yung audio nung isang character is crisp, clean, and malinis. Pero yung isa, merong ambient noise.
Yan.
Parang hindi na-minimize yung noise niya sa background.
Yan.
Tapos merong parang hangin.
Oo.
So parang that takes me out of the scene.
Yes.
And napaka-importante pa naman. Although it's subtitled, pero kasi yung overall feel nung scene feels very disjointed.
At saka ito, you said na at least subtitled. The subtitle should never be a crutch. The movie should work with or without a subtitle.
Oo, especially there are parang words naman derived from, our root dialect. May mga words ako naintindihan without the subtitle.
And,
like mga words like balay, yung mga ganon. Parang alam mo naman na
no,
'di ba? As Filipinos,
familiar tayo dun sa verbiage na ganon. Pero yun na nga para siyang ang naging, it's sad na possibly the mentality here was parang okay naman yan, subtitle na. Sige naman, maiintindihan naman nila. And as a film viewer, as the audience member, parang ang disservice naman sa atin nun na we're given parang okay na.
Oo, parang meron ka namang visual aid.
The audience deserves ito yung best namin. Pero if your best is okay na, then something has to change. You have to go back to the drawing board.
Yes.
Yan.
And this is not in a way nitpicking on the film kasi we really love the story.
Okay sana yung story And napaka-human, napaka-universal ng kwento. Pero bakit hindi natin focus yung kwento? Puro tayo visuals, puro tayo tribe life, and nothing is wrong with that. Pero make the story, make your central concept
the star of your film.
Rotate around these other elements na gusto mong ilagay sa sine, like yung tribe life, like yung vistas. Paganahin mo sila in service of the story.
True, I agree. And speaking of vistas, I would have loved to see the intricate and the vibrant tribe life. Kaso, because of the decision nga to parang go from timeline to timeline, basically non-linear, nagbinago niya din yung color grading.
Yun.
Na to the point na para na siyang grayscale.
Almost grayscale na siya.
So parang sayang kasi ang gaganda ng mga shot niya. Ang gaganda ng mga wide shots, yung mga drone shots. Tapos parang walang kulay. I wanted to see the green nature of Kalinga and alam mo yung set design. Sayang, di ba?
Alam mo sana. And sige, in closing na lang, kasi we don't want to just rag on this film. If they wanted yung ganong parang flashback na ganong muted yung colors, just like the poster, they could have made the entire film black and white. That would have been a choice. Commit to a bit. Yon. If you want to be this placid slice of life story, then commit to that. Pero mahirap kung yung placid slice of life story mo, bigla mong hahaluan ng drama, ng melodrama that just basically finds its feet dun sa last 25 minutes ng sine. Which is a shame. Kasi the actors were good.
Yeah, they really poured their heart out.
Oo.
So, shout out to Mai Fanglayan portraying Lumnay
Lumnay, yes.
and Arvin Balageo.
Yes. Kalimutan ko yung name
Awiyaw.
nila. Si Awiyaw yun. You can see the pain in their acting. Na-embody nila yung characters nila.
Oo. I really felt their scenes kaso it came too late. Kasi parang, alam mo yung for the first 2/3 of the movie was sobrang bagal and sobrang repetitive actually sometimes. And yung last part, yung talagang marriage story scenes nila, yun yung dun ako na-capture nung sine. Parang sabi ko, if yun lang conversation na yun was the movie, I would have loved it.
Tama.
Yun lang last 30 minutes or so. Yun na yung movie as a short film. Ang ganda nun.
Tapos interspersed with quick parang establishing shots of their previous relationship alluded to na magiging central dun sa conversation. Yun, it's a great short film.
And we only needed one flashback.
Yan, true. Pero yun na nga, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Yun, at ano nga I wouldn't say na this may parang sort of controversy itong film na to. But what we understand is this was supposed to have its premiere last August 3rd. Tapos, may naging parang switch up na yung kanilang gala premiere became a screening of Balota, which was the first movie we saw. And then, doon sa gala premiere, when we saw it yesterday, August 8, parang merong allusion si Direct Julius to parang something. Ayoko lang ungkatin yun. Pero,
we're not aware din naman.
We're not aware, pero parang medyo parang may point of contention itong film na to, which is, again, it's sad kasi the culture, the richness of the culture of the Kalinga takes a backseat to everything, even the film itself. Na parang we don't feel the vibrancy of the culture because of how plodding and repetitive and parang
yung
lacks life.
Choices din talaga ng production to parang show it in a very colorless way.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll end our discussion there for The Wedding Dance. Wala na akong ibang masasabi about this. Let's just give our rating for this film, which is C. We'd love to have seen more of the culture take center stage alongside the supposedly vibrant, dramatic story. Kaso,
sayang missed opportunity.
Oo.
I love the story. I love the premise. Sayang talaga.
Yeah. All right, so let's now go over the 10th and final film that we saw for the feature-length main competition of Cinemalaya 2024, which is Love Child, written and directed, actually, let me correct myself, sa sinabi ko kanina, written and directed siya by Jonathan Horilla. And the screenplay was made by Arden Rod Condes and Ariana Martinez with Angel Benjamin. Again, logline from the Cinemalaya website is as follows. A young couple navigates the challenges of raising their autistic son in an increasingly unforgiving world, testing their love and resilience. Okay. So, by the way, sorry, masabi ko lang, kasi kakakita ko lang dito sa production list ng sine. The director of one of our favorite films of the year, Under a Piaya Moon, siya pala yung production designer nito, si Kurt Soberano.
Oh, kaya
Yes.
pala, no?
Oo. At saka sa Bacolod ginawa yung story, di ba? Basically.
Oo,
So,
Silay.
Sa Silay. So, basically the same place, kumbaga, ng Under a Piaya Moon. Pero, let's now go over dito sa Love Child. By the way, this was the last credited work as executive producer by Mother Lily Monteverde. This film was a film of Regal Film Studios or Regal Entertainment, kung yun na ba yung name nila.
Yeah, oo. Yun din siguro yung nagbigay ng vibe na para siyang blockbuster. Didn't feel independent.
Sige.
Pero, sige, before I get ahead of myself, Roy, you go first this time. What did you think of Love Child?
This movie got lost. Yan. Nawala siya. Dapat dun siya sa bus ng mga sine na MMFF, pero nasama siya dun sa bus ng Cinemalaya Films.
How so? Why?
Okay. And this is going to be, again, strictly my opinion. So even in this, parang us, the Cine Geeks, this does not represent what you think. Okay? This is just me. This is Roy speaking. my mental image of the Cinemalaya Film Festival is that these are films that are presented to us, the audience, because otherwise, kung baga sabihin natin yung quote-unquote regular season ng sine, hindi sila lalabas. Kasi, first and foremost, acknowledging the reality of the film business, studios greenlight projects based on profitability. So, icky, pag-usapan, but that's a fact of life. So, that is why these festivals exist. Cinemalaya, Cinag Maynila, Q Cinema, Pure Gold, Cine Panalo. They exist to give these filmmakers or give filmmakers a platform to be able to show their films na otherwise wouldn't be considered commercially viable.
Yes,
Okay?
yes.
Watching this film, for better or worse, it absolutely felt like a Metro Manila Film Festival film.
Felt commercial.
Yes. You take that however you will. Yun nga, for better or worse nga eh.
Yes.
Kasi, unang-una, and I hate that I'm going to say that this is a net negative for me dito sa sine na to. Pero sobrang niyang pulido. Napaka-pulido niya.
It felt high budget.
Yon,
diba?
Napaka-high budget niya. And again, we are talking about this strictly as a film. Okay? We do not discount or discredit the heart and the intent that went behind making a film like this and other films similar to this. Because later on, I am going to also point out as a film that is very similar to this na ako naman, I personally loved. Pero it's why I loved it, I'll expound on later on. Yan. Okay. So, another thing that irks me about this film is how it's trying to be this show-stopping dramatic film in the middle of a film festival where every film, even The Wedding Dance, even yung ganung mga films, yung kanilang source of drama comes from the humanity on display in the films. Even Gulay Lang Manong. Pero for some reason, this film decides to elicit its drama from contrivances that we see sa mga dramatic films na mga MMK, ganon, or TV show, teleserye. Napaka-teleserye nung source ng drama niya. Ergo, how it elicits emotion from the audience feels very manipulative. It doesn't earn the emotion. It basically, kulang na lang sana kung meron nakatayo dun sa harap, dun sa may screen, sa may silver screen na magtataas ng board. Cry now, please. Ganun siya eh. It panders to the lowest common denominator of drama na where Cinemalaya is supposed to be a platform for high concept thinking drama. We suddenly have this film that basically manipulates us into crying just because circumstances? Hindi niya na-earn eh. Parang ang gusto niya mangyari sa'yo eh, pagpasok mo pa lang dun sa sinihan eh, makita mo na ay may nanay, may tatay, may anak, tas ganito yung situation nila, oh my God, maiiyak ako. Kaya sa akin, sasabihin ko naman na may similar film na lumabas last year that I liked, which is In His Mother's Eyes. Yun naman, alam niya na hindi siya, it's not trying to be a Cinemalaya film. It's a shame nga na hindi siya nasama sa MMFF eh. Kasi bagay siya dun. Pero, where that worked well is that it knows what it is. It knows itself. It doesn't try to be more than itself. Yon. Kaya gumana siya. It knows it's a drama. It knows it's going to manipulate you into emotions. Pero it's not trying to be highbrow. And, sorry, if it sounds like I'm taking offense to it, I'm not. Pero kasi, ang taas ng expectation ko kapag Cinemalaya yung film festival eh. Kaya nga, ganun na lang yung disappointment natin sa Wedding Dance eh. Kasi it tries to play in a game na sobrang high stakes, sobrang taas ng standards. Pero ito naman, pwede sana siyang gumawa ng moves to parang deserve or to meet those high standards, and yet it settles for being the typical Filipino melodrama. And it's utterly disappointing that it doesn't say anything else besides, audience, please cry. Sige, bago ba ako biglang dito, ikaw, anything, ikaw naman ba, meron ka bang other opposite reaction, hopefully, to Love Child? What did you think of the film?
Ako naman, I agree with most of what you said naman, especially dun sa typical melodrama Filipino film. To credit nga our friend Mark Magadia, Maganda Ba Movie.
Hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. He said na, yun nga, this is giving off a lot of MMK vibes. And I completely agree with him then na, alam mo yung, I was expecting a different movie. I don't know if it's my fault because of my expectations, pero kasi, pag sinabi mo kasing Cinemalaya, there is a very brave statement. And it's not the typical blockbuster cinema that you will see on regular season na kikita. Example, Rewind. I can actually compare this movie, yung Love Child, sa Rewind from MMFF. Kaya nga siya kumita ng billion eh.
Exactly.
Kasi people, you know, there are a lot of people who want to go to the movies just to cry and to see their stories there, up there. Hindi nila kailangan yung parang mga sine na talagang merong societal statement, political and cultural statement na hindi tatanggapin ng publiko ng masa. Yun kasi yung stage na talagang sinet ng Cinemalaya sa lahat ng pelikula eh. Yun din yung expectation ko kasi Cinemalaya yung pinuntahan ko. Pero alam mo yung on the flip side din naman, if this movie came out on regular season ng hindi art film or independent film festival, kung sa MMFF pa nga siya sumali, feeling ko, mas kikita siya. Kasi parang itong mga kwento na katulad ng Love Child, yes, it's beautiful, pero ano siya eh, it belongs to the category of the crowd cinema eh, the crowd moviegoers eh, na talagang word of mouth kasi they related to it, it made them feel things, it made them cry. This will be a commercial success. Cinemalaya gives platforms to movies who will do otherwise sa commercial movie industry. And this was also produced by Regal Films. This can stand as a regular season film talaga. So parang tama ka dun sa misplaced siya. It is lost in the mix of these Cinemalaya art films that we see.
Yes.
It doesn't feel independent, pero ang ganda ng pagkakagawa ng sine.
Yeah, technically speaking, wala akong masabi dun sa film.
Sobrang ganda nung...
Yun na nga eh. It's sige, I'll use your, yung ganyang grading rubric, kumbaga. Sige, to be fair to the film. As a regular season film or MMFF film, this was the best MMFF film never shown sa MMFF. Kasi, I mean, you said na it's compared to Rewind, it's similar. I would posit that this is better than Rewind.
Oh, kasi yung Rewind is just a rehash of If Only eh. Diba? We have established that.
Oo, sobrang derivative ng Rewind. Ito, original. May puso. May pinanggagalingan. Now, yung animus ko for this film comes solely from the fact that this was placed in a festival na wala ngang mga ganitong sine. Kaya nga tayo nagsisinimalaya eh, para makapahinga dun sa mga ganitong sine.
Exactly. Just comparing it to Tumandok, is it in the
Jesus
same...
Christ. It's not
would
even
you put those two movies in the same category?
They're not even in the same sport.
Pero it's not... it's not...
It's not a knock on Tumandok. No.
And it's also not a knock on Love Child.
Love Child, okay.
Kasi nga, as a movie in its own, if not associated with Cinemalaya, is a very good movie.
Yes, I definitely agree. Kasi, yun na nga eh, para siyang yung In His Mother's Eyes, tackling a similar subject matter, di ba? Pero where that movie parang quote-unquote wins over this one is it doesn't purport to have any bigat na we associate usually with Cinemalaya films. It knows that it's a film that tackles a niche audience and it basically invites you to a cathartic experience.
And it was.
It
really was.
Pero yun na nga eh, hindi ito yung catharsis na hinahanap natin pag Cinemalaya.
I mean, we jest about it being a pain festival, pero dito mo pwedeng ipalabas yung mga sine katulad ng An Errand.
Yun.
Hindi siya kikita sa commercial stage eh. Pero this can. Kumbaga parang overpowered si Love Child compared sa iba. Kasi may commercial viability and mass appeal tong movie na to. And yun nga, Cinemalaya is the break from these movies. I'm not saying these are bad movies, pero there's a place and the stage for them.
Yes.
And it's all year round. Sa Cinemalaya, we only get 1 week of experimental art films that, would otherwise not be seen in cinemas.
True. Kaya, ewan ko ba? I mean,
Kumbaga
sorry.
sa football, parang nasa Premier League siya eh. Tapos bumaba siya dun sa
Biglang bumaba siya sa League 2. Parang ganun.
Oo,
Kumbaga.
parang nandun ka na sa Premier League.
Kaya sobrang mixed emotions. Itong scene na to. Kasi on one end, again, we do not discount the craft on display. Okay? Some of the best. Actually, if not one of the best made films in this festival. Walang problema dun. Pero it just doesn't fit with the rest of the films.
Pero sige, to be fair naman din dun sa movie, let's talk about the merits of the technicals naman.
Well, I mean, maganda yung lente niya. Magaling yung pagkakashoot ng scene ni Romel Sales. And again, the production design by Kurt Soberano. Noteworthy. Pero herein lies the difficulty that we currently feel about this film. On one end, you want to talk about the film based on its merits, as any film deserves to be talked about.
Yes.
Okay? Pero, the moment pinasok mo siya sa isang festival na merong parang, ayoko sabihing notoriety, merong ng pre-established na parang
reputation.
Mores or norms, kumbaga. May reputation siya. Kailangan mo ding tignan yung scene under the umbrella of that film festival. Hindi lang pwede na parang, magpapasok lang kami ng scene tapos, bala na. Hindi pwede. Kasi, if you look back dun sa history nitong film festival na to, you are right. This festival has given a platform to films that would have otherwise been ignored by the general audience.
Yes, and disenfranchised.
And disenfranchised filmmakers.
Kaya nga dito lumalabas yung mga indigenous people films eh.
Exactly. Kasi otherwise, they would be ignored by the MMFF because they're not gonna earn.
Especially sa regular season.
Exactly. Diba? Yung audience members dito are discerning. They are more parang not quick to dismiss of the films that they see here. Ito kasi, this is a film that you can just slot in on Netflix and then just play on the background.
And magna-number one siya.
And magna-number one siya sa Netflix.
Undoubtedly.
Oo. May sinabi nga kagabi na parang siyang...
deservedly din.
Oo, may sinabi nga kagabi na ang pakiramdam niya parang siyang family of two. Na it is melodrama for the sake of melodrama. Yes, there is a statement based on the child. Pero even then, sige, let's talk about that. The movie makes no attempt to make the child's condition a central thing. Yes, it is a plot point. Yes, they are plot points. But we choose to stick with the story of the couple. And even then, the couple's issues are highly contrived.
Yeah, I did not appreciate yung dahilan niya, the reason why parang they feel bad is because yung mga peers niya nagta-travel, childless and, with pets as children. Parang,
ako, I took fucking offense to that. Na parang, so kasalanan namin na yung ganito yung buhay namin? Kami yung masama?
Hindi, sinabi naman niya din dun sa movie na it's their own faults, kumbaga, na they believed in a fairy tale. Pero parang ayun nga.
Even then, who talks like that? Nobody in real life talks like that. Let's go.
Yeah.
Ito, the handicap we give to films like this, if shown in the MMFF, is that, okay, we know that these films are supposed to be this schlocky. Nobody talks like this. In Rewind, nobody talks like that in real life. Okay? Yung batalinhaga nilang away dun sa garden nila, nobody talks like that. Okay?
Pero yung, ayun nga yung intention kasi nila doon is to draw crowds.
And dito din.
yun yung parang intention nitong Love Child which is parang a disservice to the film festival it's in. Kasi kapag sinabi mong Cinemalaya, it's not to flex box office earnings.
Exactly.
And it's not to parang talagang misplaced siya. Misplaced talaga. Pero it's not a bad movie. It's just in a very, very wrong stage.
Ito, sige. Para maging quote-unquote fair tayo. Kasi magsasabi mga tao dyan bakit yung Balota? Ano naman yun? Big production, big budget din yun.
And it's also produced by a
big media company. Media conglomerate. Fine.
Yes.
Where this film falls flat on its face and where Balota manages to cross the finish line is doon sa fact na it tells a story that is very relevant to everybody in a way that is not usually made sa Philippine cinema.
Tsaka hindi siya played for melodrama din.
Yon. Hindi tayo nakakakita ng ganong klaseng bravery in a movie like Balota kasi, again, everybody thinks about commercial viability.
To be fair pa nga, hindi pa nga sure yun kasi napaka-satirical
Yun, di ba?
No movie.
Oo.
Na balota.
Exactly.
So, that is not a universal parang commercial draw.
Well, dahil because of Marian Rivera, the hope is there na she is a box office draw.
Pero nga kasi, parang siya yung pagka-cast sa kanya is something very...
Against type.
Against type. Yes, that's it. Against type yung portrayal niya dun sa character. So, parang that in its own, hindi assured na magiging commercial success siya. Kasi, this is not the Marian Rivera that her fans are used to.
Yes, tama. Yun, di ba? Exactly. Yun, we'll just parang circle on that and make that what makes Balota shine. It features Marian in a role that's against type, in a story that is not commercially viable, and satirical siya.
Example, yung pagkakacast kay Adam Sandler sa Uncut Gems is very against type.
Let's not look far from the MMFF. Yung pagkakacast kay John Lloyd Cruz sa Honor Thy Father. That is very against type. And look how they murdered that film. Diba? That was the whole controversy yun.
And also, Gerald Anderson for On the Job.
On the Job.
OTJ.
Diba?
Yun yung parang matinee idol, sobrang clean cut and
squeaky clean.
Squeaky clean reputation.
Yes.
And then you put him in that kind of movies.
That kind of role.
That kind of role. Parang doon mo yung sobrang experimental feel
Yes, true. Pero ito talagang parang they cast lovers as lovers. Sige, let's add the child because of the story, personal yung story. We'll recognize that. Pero again, this is the wrong venue for this film.
And we've seen movies na ito yung tema na better executed. And yung talagang mga conflicts and yung mga issues na na-encounter ng characters are more grounded.
In reality.
Oo. And hindi lang parang FOMO.
I mean, it's sad kasi before we went into this film, I was honestly dreading watching this. Kasi nga, from what I've heard, it's strictly a melodrama. Pero as with any Cinemalaya film, I wanted to give it a chance. Talaga. Pero yun na nga that's wherein the disappointment lies. It didn't prove me wrong. It showed me exactly what it was.
Meron nga mga ibang lines na parang for the sake of parang to elicit laughs lang. Na parang naalala ko tuloy yung sa fruitcake na ginawang parang punchline yung #neveragain. Parang meron ding in the middle of their fight, parang, sino ba yung kinakagalit mo na classmate mo na inaano mo na ganyan? Parang, yung apologist. Parang,
oh my God. Tapos
parang mayroong parang groan akong narinig dun sa audience na parang...
Tapos ito pa, may nangyari pa sa dulo na sobrang parang, oh my God, I could have seen that 50 million miles away happening. Tapos ang purpose lang niya is just for the father, the guy, to drop a dramatic line. A meme-worthy line. Sabi niya na parang kung yung mga ibang bata pagdating na ng 17, 18, bubukod na sila. Pagdating ng ganung age, ako pa rin yung papa niya. Parang,
did they forget na nawawala pa yung anak nila?
Yun na nga, nawawala yung anak nila sa moment na yun.
And they really stopped the movie just to have that kind of conversation habang ibang tao yung naghahanap ng anak nila doon.
Tapos ito pa, nung nahanap na yung anak nila, who was by the way playing in a swimming pool, they could have gone around the pool, but instead they jump into the pool. Ako pala akong, sure. Why not?
Who does that?
Why not? Sige na.
Pero, ayun nga this feels like a very produced commercial film. Iyon.
In a Philippine Independent Film Festival. No less.
So, yeah, it's, we're not the right audience for this.
We can be. In a different circumstance.
True. But not in Cinemalaya.
Not in Cinemalaya, please.
Parang kumbaga, ito yung ito yung usual food na kinakain mo sa buong taon This time, gusto ko muna ng caviar, gusto ko ng...
Para kung you lure us into this event with the promise of an experimental gastronomic journey. And then, biglang, bibigyan mo kami ng Jollibee. Nothing against Jollibee. I love Jollibee. It's my birthday. I just had Jollibee today.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday. Pero, my mind is not in Jollibee. Don't give me that now. I can eat Jollibee anytime, any day of the year, not this. Doon nanggagaling yung yung frustration ko dito eh. Kaya as a film, sige fine, technically we'll give it its merits. Pero given its peers in the Cinemalaya Film Festival, it's not a good film. I am sorry.
In any other stage, it can be.
I'll give it that. Pero even with all of that being said, I guess we'll still give this film a Cinegeek rating of B-. Yan lang talaga. I am a mixed bag of emotions right now. Kasi parang alam mo yung, I didn't want the festival to end this way.
Well, it didn't naman. It was our choice.
I know.
To
Pero,
end in this movie.
Yes, true. Pero, I mean, given, compared to last year, I am still happy na nag-elevate yung mga sine. Talaga. Big time. For better or worse. Ikaw, anything to add about your experience, or we'll just deserve that for our parang debriefing episode ng Cinemalaya ba?
Debriefing and predictions for the Cinemalaya Awards night. Yeah, that would be our next episode. Yes. So we will ideally release that before the awards night.
Before Sunday. Yes.
But we will announce our nominees. Pero this is the Cinegeeks nominations. This is not the official.
Who we think lang.
If we are to give the nominations and awards. So I guess that wraps up our Cinemalaya 2024, aka
Cinemalaya Pain Festival.
Also known as
Cinemalaya 20.
AKA
Also known as Cinemalaya XX.
Also known as Cinemalaya.
Cinemalaya 2024. Yeah, I guess.
Just finished Cinemalaya.
Ay, gulay. Anyway, that's it for the 5-part special series of this podcast, talking about the films in contention for the main feature-length category. Please, we told you what we thought of these films. We want to now hear from you. Our comment section is open. Our socials are open. Our email, cinegeekspod@gmail.com, is open for your thoughts, feedback, violent reactions. We welcome them. So that's it.
And thank you, by the way, to those of you who responded to our polls.
Thank you for commenting, for your thoughts. We appreciate you so much. Katulad nito, sorry, mabilisan lang. Meron tayong isang nag-comment on YouTube. Her name is Kendall Falmalino. She commented about yung sa the hearing and informed us na yun nga, si attorney ni Father Don was a real attorney. So, yes, yung ganun na we love hearing from you because we also love learning things from our fellow Cinegeeks as well. Yan. And
I want to read her comment, by the way.
Sige, go.
Kendall said, the priest's attorney in the hearing is a real lawyer. I learned this during the talkback session. They originally got him as a consultant for the film, but the director later asked him to play the part, realizing that the lines were too technical and they were already pressed for time. I thought that was cool because I had a hunch while watching. I'm enjoying all of your film analysis for Cinemalaya, guys. So, thank you, Kendall.
Thank you so much. Your kind words definitely mean a lot to us. Yeah. So, I guess that's it. Thank you very much. And for my lovely co-host, Angela, this has been Roy.
Birthday boy.
August 9, yes. So this has been Roy, and thank you for listening to the Cinegeeks podcast, where movies, TV, and all things geek collide.